Hey y'all, this is Steve Yarbrough and welcome to another one of my Humminbird Mega Live fishing videos. Today we're going to try to answer the question, which is better for fishing bluegill beds, Mega Live or Mega 360? And I guess my answer is going to be to that, they're both better. They're both better in different ways. If you think of it in military terms, I view the Mega 360 as the seek tool, but I view Mega Live as the destroy tool to really focus in on where the fish are. In addition to this video, I'm also going to be producing a very detailed Mega Live video with a lot of different sonar recordings that I'm not showing here. This is just a short comparison video. But if you want more details, if you want a lot more situations with different beds, structure, scanning, etc., be on the lookout for that other more detailed video and subscribe so you get notified. Before we jump into the sonar recordings, let's talk a little bit about where I made these videos or the recordings. The lake is called Reelfoot Lake. It's a lake in West Tennessee. It's a very shallow lake, but there are lots of big old bluegill on this lake. The problem with the lake is that every place looks good, and it's hard to know where to fish because, like I say, everything looks like it's a good place to fish, but you can waste a lot of time fishing non-productive areas. The bluegill on this lake are big, but they're still bluegill. So even though they're big for bluegill, they're still small fish from a sonar standpoint. Unfortunately, the conditions weren't that great the 4 days that my brother and I were there fishing for bluegill. It was very, very windy, but it was also excessively hot. By 10 o'clock in the morning, it was in the mid to upper 90s. So we basically, by 10:30 in the morning, we were off the lake. But luckily, we got some really good sonar recordings and things to show you. So let's jump into the recordings. This is a Mega 360 scan. I actually have my speed on a setting of 3 at this point. You can see there's some bluegill beds scattered around. There's some at about the 9 o'clock position, and then some a little further out, about 8 o'clock, and then there's some about the 12 o'clock position, and there's a few scattered all around. So however, if last year I only had Mega 360, I didn't have Mega Live, I probably would have passed up this area because I'm not seeing fish in the divots. I'm just seeing black holes. Now, if you look at the 9 o'clock position, there is one spot in one of the divots about halfway between the first and second ring. Now we're looking at the Mega Live video of that cluster that was to the left. You can see the one fish just going crazy, building a nest. That's the dot that we saw in that one position. But you can see there's fish in pretty much all the divots, and then you're going to see there's fish swimming around. It's a much more active spot than I would have thought it was from the Mega 360 alone. And again, you're seeing some fish swim. You'll see fish shadows. Some of the ridges and things on the outer perimeter of this was due to the waves. I have my Mega Live transducer set very shallow, so I'm getting some reflection off the surface. So that's what's causing some of those gyrations on the outside. But again, you'll see the fish are very active in this bed. They're making beds, they're guarding beds, they're swimming around. So this ended up being a very good spot to fish. Now we're going back to the 360 view, but I've zoomed it in. So again, you can see at about 9 o'clock between the first and second ring, that close area, but then you can see the other area that's between the second and third ring. And again, there's just not much apparent activity here from the 360 view. Again, the 360 is much better though for finding the beds than the Mega Live is. And you can see that fish again just at the 9 o'clock position between the first and second ring. And now we're on the zoomed in image from the Mega Live video. Again, you can see the fish swimming around the water column. You can see the shadows. You can see the fish swimming in and out of the divots. Again, this was just a much more active area that I probably would have passed up. I would have found the bed with the Mega 360, but I probably wouldn't have fished it because it just didn't look active. But obviously the combination of Mega Live and Mega 360 is just a killer combination. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to be having a companion video with a lot more details of the setup for Mega Live, how I captured these videos, a lot of different spots around the lake that both with structure, with beds, you get a real good picture of how this Mega Live worked in this very shallow 4 to 4.5 foot water, very muddy and very productive lake.